Chapter 777. Wilbur sighed, walking out of the bedroom. He knew that Faye did not really believe him yet, but he did not really have a way of convincing her either. A middle-aged man was in the living room as Wilbur made his way over. The man was wearing a black suit and holding onto a square box. Eileen stood to the side staring at him quietly. "Where is it?" Wilbur got straight to the point. They scrambled to open the box, placing it on the table. In it was a crown. The crown was made entirely of gold and encrusted with various gems. One of the gems was a fiery red color, emitting an exquisite scarlet glow. Wilbur scanned the crown with his spirit energy, and it lit up at once. He picked the crown up, taking a closer look at it. The man blinked nervously, clearly caught off guard by how carelessly Wilbur was handling the crown. A while later, Wilbur looked up. "I'll take it. I'll help you with whatever you want after I'm done. But I haven't even told you what it is I need," the man protested, clearly confused. Wilbur turned to Eileen. "Could you help me settle the gentleman somewhere? I'll have a talk with him once I'm done." "Of course." Eileen smiled. "Come with me." But the man still protested, glancing wistfully at the crown. Eileen smiled. "Don't worry. He'll be sure to get you out of your trouble as long as he said yes." The man finally relented, following Eileen out of the room. Wilbur entered his demiplane once again, sacrificing the crown for grace points. The crown was converted into another hefty 300 grace points. Wilbur could hardly contain his glee. He got the nectar of healing at once and spent the remaining grace points on 2 spirit mend pills. Casting one last icy glance at NG's soul, he sneered as he exited the demiplane. Wilbur entered the bedroom at once, calling out excitedly to Faye, "Get up and drink this." Faye covered her face except for her eyes, glancing at the tiny vial in Wilbur's hand. In the vial was a glittering blue liquid. "What's that?" Faye asked, her voice trembling. "The nectar of healing," Wilbur smiled. "Not only will it heal your wounds, but it'll also help you look young forever." "Really?" Faye widened her eyes in disbelief. Wilbur smiled. "Don't you trust me?" "I do. But this is something else." Faye was still finding it hard to believe that something so magical existed. Wilbur helped her up, uncapping the vial and holding it up to her mouth. Faye opened up, and Wilbur tipped the contents of the vial down her throat. A while later, Faye's eyes widened in shock. She stared at her hands, unable to believe her eyes. The wounds on her arms were fading before her very eyes. There was a soothing sensation in her body like never before that seemed to soften her every pore, filling her with comfort. Wilbur smiled at her. "It seems like you'll be all healed in just a few days. Try to get as much rest as you can until then. And don't worry about the company at all." Faye nodded, believing Wilbur fully at last. There was truly nothing he could not do. Faye still could not bring herself to show her face to Wilbur, covering it as she nodded profusely. Wilbur sat down next to her, putting a hand on her shoulder tenderly. "Remember this. I'm not giving up on you no matter what happens." "I know." Tears flowed between Faye's fingers on her face. Over in the guest room, Wilbur brewed a pot of tea for the man in the suit courteously. "Hello, sir. How should I address you? And what is it that you need from me? How did you know about me in the first place?" Eileen sat across from him, taking a sip of his tea. The man looked at Wilbur, hesitating to speak. Eileen shrugged at the sight. "I guess I'm not needed here." She got up to leave, but Wilbur stopped her.